Hey, what's up, guys? Reporting in on a very happy Friday at the end of a somewhat productive week. And just wanted to share a quick reaction to the Yay Alex Jones interview because it was pretty provocative, and I love that kind of controversy. So just wanted to share a couple of quick thoughts and reactions to add to the public marketplace of ideas, um, and because why not? So just a couple of thoughts is and my interpretations, because I have already seen or heard people sort of demonizing or vilifying Ye is he's always been a controversial guy. He's always said provocative things. Back to when he was on some news broadcasts and said, "Hey, George Bush hates black people. Or doesn't love black people," something like that. To the Taylor Swift incident, to many other things. So he's always been kind of a provocative, controversial guy, and it's the way he communicates, and also like for people saying, "Oh, he's gone crazy" or this or that. Like, hey, I don't know him in any real way or at all. um, and I don't know his personal situation, but I do know there's like lots of people communicate lots of different ways. And so if I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, I would just say, hey, this guy's a super genius when it comes to music, and has built a credible amount of success over his life, and this and that. And I think a lot of times that takes a different type of person, right? It takes it, like really successful professional athletes. Sometimes when you hear them talking about their craft or their work ethic or their attitudes towards certain things, sometimes to the average person, the average producer, it seems almost a little crazy. You're like, wow, how could someone think like that? So um, to me, you know just because he has a unique communication style does not make me think that he's crazy. um, Again, so without knowing the guy, I wouldn't be willing to pass judgment that harshly. And then on to like the really the meat of the content was that he was saying things like, oh, I love Nazis, I love Hitler, and I've heard sound bites way condensed down, and headlines condensed down to put it in its worst light. And one could say, oh, how could you take that, put that in any context and be in a good light? And I think, um, first off, anytime you take a 3 hour conversation and condense it down to 20 seconds, you're really treating someone pretty unfairly. And I would say that the explanation is a couple of things. That it was in the context of him talking about his faith, and that he is trying to love everybody. And he talked about people who had done, who had done perceived wrongs to him, or the doctor who his mom died on an operating table, and he said he loved that doctor. He loves these people who tried to freeze his bank account. He loves, and he also, before that conversation started, said, hey, I'll visit R. Kelly in prison. I'll visit Harvey Weinstein in prison. And I think what his point was just, in some of the cases was, hey, um you know according to his faith, he should love everybody, and so he was just expressing that he does. He's not going to let anyone or culture in general dictate, their people that are perceived as evil and have to be treated as such. So, I think that was a big portion of it, and then there was like a couple of little nuanced moments. Like at one point, he was talking about I can't imagine all Nazis are bad, and the point being that everyone's made this huge deal about comments he's made about the Jewish community, or just referencing Jewish people specifically, and they always want to clarify, well, it's you can't generalize a group based off a few people, right? So you can't say all you can't say Hollywood's owned by Jews, or banking's owned by Jews. You can't say certain things like that because you can't generalize a group based off individual people. So he spun it and applied the same logic to Nazis and said, hey, why do we say that all Nazis are bad? Uh, why do we say that all Nazis are bad when um, when, hey, maybe it was just the actions of a few. So you can't blame the whole group for the actions of a few. Um, so and then there was one point just at the very end when Alex was like, well, people really unfairly kind of like throw that word around and have called me a Nazi, and I'm not a Nazi. And Ye says, I'm a Nazi. I am. What now? Like what worse can you say about me? Um, so again, there was just little different nuanced moments, and basically him taking the power out of the attack, right? Because if everyone's going to use that as an attack to silence you, shut down your bank account, pull different earning income from you and your family. Like if people are going to try and take all these things away from you and then use that label as a cover up to silence any opposition and go, oh, he's crazy, or he's anti-Semitic, or he's a Nazi. At a certain point you can only deny something so much and just own it. So it was just a very interesting um, confronting something that is in our culture, in our society, one of those real taboo topics, those real taboo. That's the nuclear bomb to reference Hitler. He's in our culture. Oh, that's the most evil point of reference that we could possibly use. So very interesting to see a guy sort of just you know walk right around that and not be afraid of this subject in any way, shape, or form. So those are my thoughts on the deal. But that being said, it's also a good reminder that, hey, the headlines are super not important. I posted on LinkedIn today that this has been the most productive year of my life, and it was not getting caught up in current events, headlines, politics, things like that. So, um, you know, I guess I've allowed myself to sway from the path a little bit, but ultimately, got to focus on what I can control and what's right in front of me. And so I did end the evening. I started another book, the Sam Walton autobiography, and that just reset my mindset right to where it needed to be on what I can control, being productive, and building the life that I want to build. So I think that's much more important than any headlines or controversy or provocative things going on. So hope you're all taking control of whatever's right in front of you and making moves and making things happen. And in the meantime, I will be in touch. Thanks.